I want some ice cream. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room.
おいてめえら一体どこに行ってたんだ
To do stuff, dude? I mean, what the heck is your problem? What's going on? It was Seven.
セブン
Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back.
なんだ
It looked as though there was something strange about them. Seven had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone to speak. No one did. He looked at Seven.
何かあったのか
あったどころの騒ぎじゃねえんだよバカ野郎
Well, you're not exactly explaining anything, dude. You're just kind of like standing there like, you know, so I kind of want to know what happened. Seven was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling, and his voice was strained.
ニルスがなニルスが
Seven couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
ニルスが死んでたんだよあの9番の男のようなむごい姿で
It was as if all the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beading on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All three were frozen in place, their faces white.
そんな嘘でしょ。
とにかく私たちも確かめに行きましょう。
ああそうだな
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door.
あ違うそっちじゃねえ
何 ?3 の扉じゃないのか
They stopped short and turned to look at Seven. He was pointing to the door with no number.
ドアの間にドライバーをかませておいたロックはかかってねえからそっちの数字の書かれてない方のドアから入れ
その先は
現場は通路の左手にあるシャワー室の中だそこのドアにも同じようにほうきの絵が挟み込んである
つまりナンバリングドアを通らなくても出口の方からそのシャワー室とやらに入れるってことだな
ああそうだ
そういうことなら決まりだな行こう
Their new destination clear, Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left wall.
このドアかさっき通った時には開かなかったやつだな
But now, just as Seven had said, there was a broom stuck in between the door and the frame, keeping it open.
よしそれじゃ進むぞ
They looked at it for a moment, then stepped inside.
ひどい匂いね。
Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Santa pinched his nose shut.
ああ本当にひどいな吐きそうだぜ
It was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour and smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat to pound against the entrance to his stomach. He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged.
どこだどこでにいるぞ
They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere. A few arms of the splatter reached toward them as they walked in through the door. All one had to do was follow the many radical arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider.
紫お前はここで待ってろいいから黙って言うことを聞くんだいいな
He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole, turned, and walked toward the end of the divider.
行ってくる
It felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded, slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew in that instant that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh, torn from the body, sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast, ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and became stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it.
一宮が言ってた通りだな
Santa's voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own.
あの9番の男と同じだバングルの起爆送信機が作動して体内の小型爆弾が炸裂したんだろう
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful.
ひどい全身めちゃくちゃだ左腕なんて骨が飛び出て
開放骨折を起こしてるな
His legs were both bent at an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painful white bone of his ulna. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces.
それよりひどいのは顔ね
ひどいありさまだもはや誰だか
Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. See, that's really disturbing when you think about that as a person. His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks.
だけどこの服は
They were all familiar to Junpei.
間違いないわニルスね
Lotus's voice was unnaturally deep and strained, and Junpei heard it catch in her throat. Well, that was fun. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
おそらくニルスは殺されたんだろう。
Thank you for setting that mood there, Seven. I mean, we were probably all thinking it anyway, but thank you for saying it out loud.
あの9番の男が死んだ時と同じような状況に追い込まれてな。
Seven lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. So, I noticed something. When it comes to, like, the really intense parts, I can read pretty well, but once it gets down to, like, the regular story kind of thing, I can't read for shit. Why? There were 4 other people in the room, with Junpei and Seven. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at each one of them in turn, and continued.
やった方法は実に単純明快だ。簡単に説明することができる。まず犯人たちはニルスと共にレッドで認証を行い3の扉を開いた。で、その奥へとニルスだけをぶち込んだんだ。その9秒後、自動的に扉が閉鎖。孤立したニルスになす術はない。それでも奴は諦めなかった。無駄だとは知りながらもデッドを求めてシャワー室へと飛び込んでいった。藁にもすがる思いでな。だが掴んだ藁は所詮は藁だ。デッドで認証を行ってもバングルの起爆タイマーが停止するわけはなかった。止めるにはレッドで認証を受けた者全員がデッドに触れなければならない。そしてゲートをくぐってから81秒が経過。その結果があれだ。
なるほど。だから犯人たちなんだな。ナンバリングドアを開くにはニルスを含めて3人以上は必要だ。犯人1人とニルスだけでは扉は絶対に開けない。だ。
Oops.
そういうことだ。要するに単独犯じゃなくて複数犯ってことになる。
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
念のため確認しておきたい。もしも今の推理が正しいとするならニルスが殺されたのはいつだろう。
全員で分かれてレッドの基盤を探してた時だろうな。ニルスがいなくなってるのに気づいたのはその後のことだ。
ってことは全員のアリバイがなかったことになるよな。みんなそれぞれ自分の担当箇所に分かれて基盤を探してたわけで。
だね。つまり犯人の可能性は俺たち全員にあるってことだ。
That means anyone could be a killer.
ちょっと待ってください。2人ともどうかしてますよ。
June seemed shocked.
なんだか当たり前みたいに平然と言ってますけど、それって私たちの中に犯人がいるってことでしょ。
No, technically he's implying 2 of us are killers. Did you not just hear him say that? I mean, it don't open for 1 person. He's implying 2 of us are killers. 2 people out of the 7 that are there? Yeah.
ああ、しかも一人だけじゃない。 2人以上は確実にいることになる。
Well, 6, because I should really take Clover out of that equation. She is not gonna kill her own brother, so 6 of us.
よさないかセブン。こんなところで猜疑心を煽ってどうする。それこそゼロの思うツボだろう。
Really? Really, Ace? What are you gonna gain by being so suspicious? Ace, buddy. If there's a dude in there that's like, hey, I'm dead and shit, and we're all like, hey, there's only so many people that can open that door, I'd be suspicious too. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, clearly none of us killed him, so, you know, when I get an axe in the back or get sliced open by a fucking machete or something, whatever you find, get shot by a gun, I don't know. I'm gonna just sit there and be like, hey, I totally didn't see this coming. Idiot.
ゼロの思うツボ。
そうとも。これは奴の仕掛けてきたゲームなんだぞ。ゲームであるからには必ず勝者と敗者が生まれる。9の扉に入れた者が勝者、あぶれた者が敗者だ。奴はその勝敗を我々に競わせようとしてるんだ。
つまり意図的に内部分裂を起こさせようと。
そういうことだ。だからこそ我々は疑心暗鬼に陥ってはならないんだ。互いを信頼し結束を固めなければならない。
Ha! Fuck that. Fuck that.
そうしなければゼロの思惑通りになってしまうからね。
ってことはニルスを殺したのも？
ああ、おそらくゼロだろう。
I don't buy that, Ace. I don't. Why would Zero break his own rules and kill someone himself? This is a game he's got going on its own, you know? So I mean, everything's automated. He wouldn't just step in and say, "You know what? I'm just going to kill you." Why? Ace? Why? Tell me why.
というかだな。そもそもまず真っ先に疑うべきなのはゼロだろう。奴はこのゲームの首謀者なんだぞ。我々そいつがニルスを殺したと考える方が自然じゃないかね。
He kidnapped us, but he didn't hurt us. Aside from, you know, putting a bomb in us, but that's different. I mean, okay, that's not really different, but my point still stands.
どうなんだろ
I didn't read the question. No, it does not it's not reasonable. Junpei hadn't really considered that.
う。もしもニルスを殺したのがゼロだとするなら、ゼロはこの船の中にいることになるが。
Junpei was Zero still on the ship with them? I don't know. I don't know. He wasn't sure.
やっぱりなんかおかしいよな。
何か言ったかい？
いや、一つだけ確認しておきたいことがあるんだが。
なんだね。
ゼロってこの船の中にいるのか？
Ace's eyebrows shot up.
おいおい、純平君ともあろうものがどうしたんだね。そんなことは当然じゃないか。
No. Tell me, why is it so obvious?
当然？なんでだ？
この船。
は？
この船という言葉をゼロは最初のアナウンスの時に三度口にしたんだよ。
So you're going off wordplay. Anyone can say this, that, and so on and so forth. All you've got to do is put yourself in the setting. I have multiple times said I as Junpei. I'm clearly not male, and I'm clearly not the character. Yet I'm still saying I. So tell me, Ace, wordplay, that's all you're going off of? All someone's got to do is either write it down when they're on the ship and then leave it and read it to themselves, or, you know, have their mindset saying, this ship. You know, you could be looking at the ship and say, this ship. I do it all the time. It's stupid to think that that's the only thing you're going off of.
ゼロがここにいないのなら、この船などという表現を使うはずはないだろう。
How do you know that? How do you know that, Ace? How? Tell me.
どこか別の場所にいるんだったら、その船というはずだ。
Okay.
なるほど。
No.
確かにそれもそうだな。
Ace's explanation made perfect sense. Bullshit. Junpei felt a little foolish that he hadn't seen him himself. Still, he was left with a question, and it was one of no small importance.
だとしたら、ゼロは一体この船の中のどこにいるんだろう。
Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and across his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting moaning noise. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke. Her voice was a cold monotone.
多分ゼロはこの中に。
Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Was he one of them? I mean, it's possible.
確かにそうかもしれないな。四つ葉の言った通り、この中にゼロがいるのかも。
何を言ってるんですか、純平くん。さっきの一宮さんの話聞いてなかったんですか？
ああ、そうだ。むやみに疑い合うのはやめようとあれほど。
むやみ？むやみなんかじゃないさ。
何なんだその根拠ってのは。
バングルだよ。
He held out his left arm.
どうして体内にある小型爆弾はバングルと連動してるんだ？ゼロはどこかで俺たちの行動を監視してるんじゃなかったのか？だったらルール違反を犯した場合は遠隔操作か何かで爆発すれば済むことだろう。その方が確実だし手間もかからない。なのになんでバングルの送信機を返して爆発するような仕組みになってるんだよ。
確かにそれもそうだな。
それだけじゃないぜ。これはノナリーゲームの全てについて言えることだ。船内にある数々の仕掛けは全部自動的に機能するようになってる。つまりゼロの手を一切介することなく何もかもが勝手に進行するようになってるってことだ。なぜだ？どうしてゼロはそんなめんどくさい仕掛けを施したんだ？
Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered.
ゼロは俺たちの中に紛れ込んでいる。だとすると逐一行動を監視したり遠隔操作で何かを動かしたりするのは難しい。だから船内の仕掛けは全て自動的に動くようにしておかなければならなかった。そういうことだな。
そうだ。
Junpei nodded.
セブン、確かお前はさっきニルス殺しの犯人は俺たちの中にいるみたいなことを言ってたよな。
ああ、言ったな。
次は一宮、あんたに聞きたい。あんたは確かゼロこそがニルス殺しの犯人だってそう思ってるんだったよな。
ああ、その通り。それしか考えられないだろう。
じゃあこの2つの主張を合わせてみるとどうなる？連立方程式みたいなもんだ。解くとこうなるだろう。ニルス殺しの犯人イコールゼロイコール俺たちの中にいる。要するにセブンと一宮の言ってることは矛盾せずに共存できるってことだ。ゼロがこの中にいるとするならな。
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
で動機は何なのよ。
動機？
そう大事なことでしょ。どうしてゼロは私たちの中に紛れ込む必要があったのか。
それはその
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
わからない。
Lotus sighed.
説得力が大幅にダウンね。
つまり状況証拠だけってことか。
Well, what about you? You only had circumstantial evidence too. This shit my ass.
それだけじゃなんともな。
We go with Ace because he's like older and wiser, and yet we won't go with me because I have no evidence. Yet Ace doesn't have evidence either. Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Then in that horrible silence, they heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase.
あの時計の鐘の音だな。
タイムリミットまであと3時間ね。
とにかく今は動くしかあるまい。セブン、四つ葉、純平君、3人の言いたいことは分かったが、今はそれよりもお互いを信じることの方がはるかに大事だ。そうだろう。
No.
それはそうだが。
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. Seven and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away.
さあ、時間がない。行こう。
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
次に目指すべき場所は水星か。
それじゃあまた後でね。
行こう、紫。
行ってきます。ここですね。
Ah, that was painful. It sat bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen, between the two elevators.
ああ、この水星のマークが刻まれたカードリーダーだ。
そこにセブンさんに渡されたカードを使うんですね。
あ、
例のシャワー室を調べてる時にな、見つけたんだよ。
とかなんとかセブンは言ってたな。まあとにかくやってみよう。
Junpei slid the card through the reader. The light on the reader turned green and made a tiny electronic noise.
これでエレベーターが使えるようになった。うん。
俊平君、その二人きりですけど力を合わせて頑張りましょう。
なんだよ急に。
その選ばれたのが私と淳平君だったのがちょっと嬉しくて。
選ばれたって言っても一度いいデッキを調べているからってだけの理由だろ。
それでも淳平君と一緒でよかったです。
まずはこのエレベーターが水の中に出ないか調べよ
前と同じ手順ですね。
う。戻ってきたな。
やっぱり水滴一つ見当たらないですね。
それじゃ行きますか。
Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator.
これボタンがみんな潰されてますね。
ああ、押せるのは C とボトムだけだ。
今私たちがいるのが C デッキですから、実質ボトムだけってことですか。
だな。じゃ押すぞ。
Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly, they began to move downward.
ここがボトムデッキか。
They stepped off and saw that the hallway to their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end. But not a regular dead end.
あそこにあるのは
ナ
Hello.
ンバリングドアですね。
これで8枚目だな。大階段の B デッキには2枚のナンバリングドアがあった。4の扉と5の扉だ。それから大病室には3枚のナンバリングドアが。そこにはそれぞれ3、7、8と記されていた。
あとは私たちが一緒に調べた E デッキに1枚と、ヤシロさんやサンタさんが調べた A デッキにも1枚あるようですね。E デッキの方には6、A デッキの方には1と書かれていたんですよね。
4, 5, 3, 7, 8, 6, 1. And now door 2 stood in front of Junpei. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
ってことは
もしかしてこの次の扉は。
Will be door 10 to fuck with you.
ああ、おそらくそういうことだろう。多分この次に見つける扉は。
Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about the excitement that frightened him as well.
とうとうですね。
あ
なんだか浮かない顔してますね。
あ、いやこのまますんなりいけばいいのになって思っただけだよ。
そうですね。そう願いましょう。
さあ戻ろう。
そうしましょうか。
He did his best to put it from his mind and headed back to C deck with June.
1、2、3、4。よし、7枚あるな。
Alright, real quick, I'm just gonna save here and see if I can't fix some of this.